Lingering Secrets. Part 2. On hearing a loud scream, Nora and Jason rushed towards the direction of the scream. They saw a lady running away with her back turned to them, and one of the twins, Sally, was on the ground. "Sally! Sally!" Nora anxiously called out, kneeling beside her. "Are you okay?" Nora anxiously asked. Sally slowly sat up with Nora's help. "What happened?" Nora asked. "She was forcing me to go with her, and when I refused, she tried to lift me up." "What?" "She must be trying to abduct her," Nora said to Jason. Jason quickly ran after the woman. He wanted to stop her and ask her questions, but she got into a car and drove away. Disappointed, Jason returned to the spot where he left Nora and Sally, but they were no longer there. So, he went back to his building, where he initially found Nora and her twins earlier. Before he could get into the building, he saw Nora coming out of the building with the twins and carrying 2 suitcases. "What are you doing?" Jason asked Nora as he reached out to help her carry one of the suitcases. She looked at him and replied, "What do you think? We are getting out of here. I thought we would be safe here, but I was wrong. After what happened this afternoon, I think it is best that we leave because this place is not safe for the twins and I," she added. Jason looked at her and the twins and said, "You told me earlier that you lost your house in a fire. So, where do you plan to go now?" "I don't know," Nora replied, "but I know that we'll be all right wherever we go." "Can you cook?" asked Jason. Nora looked at him, wondering why he would ask her such a random question, but she decided to answer him anyway. "Of course, I can cook," she replied, still wondering why he asked her that question. "Why are you asking?" "I have a job for you. That is, if you are interested. I have a need for a cook, and the job comes with accommodation at my house." Nora was surprised at what she heard. She didn't expect that Jason will offer her a job and accommodation. She paused for a minute and said, "Tell me you are serious about this job offer and accommodation, because you know I really need a job and a place for us to lay our heads right now." "If your answer is yes, then it's settled. You and the twins are coming with me," Jason said to Nora. On getting to Jason's house, Nora was surprised to see that he was living in a beautiful mansion. "You have a beautiful home," she said, looking at the beautiful surrounding. "Thank you. Let's go in," Jason replied, and helped Nora carry the suitcases. Jason showed Nora and the twins their rooms. Sam and Sally were excited as they looked around the room. Jason took Nora around the house and showed her other areas in the house, including the kitchen. Nora asked him questions on what he likes to eat and what she can put on the menu that she plans to draw up the next day. Nora thanked Jason for coming to their rescue and promised to be a good worker and house guest. A few days later, Nora was in the kitchen making breakfast for Jason when a lady walked in and started to question her. "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" she asked Nora, staring Nora in the face. Nora was surprised to see the lady because Jason did not mention that he would be having a guest that day. "I'm Nora, Jason's new cook," replied Nora. "Wow," said the lady. "So you address your boss by his first name? Make me a cup of coffee and bring me breakfast. I'll be waiting at the dining table," she said and walked away. Nora was surprised to see how rude the lady acted, having met her for the first time, but she brushed it off and continued to prepare breakfast. When Nora brought breakfast to the dining table, Jason introduced her to the lady who was rude to her in the kitchen. "I want you to meet Clara," Jason said to Nora. He turned to Clara and said, "Clara, meet Nora." "You mean your new cook?" Clara said in a condescending manner and rolled her eyes at Nora. Ignoring Clara's tone and attitude, Jason said to Nora, "Please come join us for breakfast." Before Nora could respond, Clara quickly chimed in, "There is no need for that. Nora would like to eat breakfast elsewhere and give us some time to chat and catch up. Won't you, Nora?" "I will have my breakfast outside at the garden," Nora replied. "You know you don't have to do that. You can join us here at the dining table," Jason said to Nora. "It's okay," she replied. "I prefer to sit outside and enjoy the morning sun." Jason was not happy with how Clara behaved towards Nora. He made it clear to Clara that he would not tolerate any bad attitude towards Nora. Jason and Clara have been dating on and off. She just recently showed up to his house after she told him a month ago that she was done with him. Jason noticed that Clara usually comes back to him whenever she runs out of money and needs him to bankroll her extravagant lifestyle. This time, he was sure that he won't let her use him like she did in the past. Unknown to him, Clara had no plan of going away this time because she was afraid that she will lose Jason to Nora. Seeing that Nora is a beautiful woman with a great personality, Clara became threatened. She came up with a plan so she can temporarily move in with Jason and get rid of Nora and her twins. She kicked off her plan by pouring some baby oil on the floor, and then she pretended to have fallen and strained her ankle. Everyone rushed to where she was sitting on the floor when they heard her scream. Clara acted as if she was in a lot of pain and accused the twins of pouring baby oil on the floor. She wouldn't stop telling everyone that the reason she fell was because Nora failed to supervise the twins and teach them how to behave well. Jason offered to take Clara to the hospital and have her ankle checked out, but she refused, saying that the pain was too much for her. She said she will see a doctor the next day when her friend comes to see her. Clara often called on Nora to assist her with her personal needs and run errands for her, even though Jason had a housekeeper who could do that for her. There was a day that she made Nora to prepare 22 different meals and serve it in her bedroom. Each time Nora prepared a meal that Clara had requested and sent it to her room, Clara would change her mind or complain about the meal, and then request for a different meal to be prepared and brought to her. At some point, Nora got frustrated, but she had a lot of self-control, and she was determined not to show her frustration or let Clara's antics get to her. She patiently prepared the 22 different meals that Clara had requested. She was resilient and wouldn't let Clara get to her emotions. What Nora didn't know was that her patience was about to be tested yet again. Clara informed Nora that she was expecting a guest. When the doorbell rang, Nora went to get it because Jason's housekeeper was out on an errand. On opening the door, Nora was surprised to see that Clara's guest was Alex's sister, Ruby. The Alex that Nora and the twins stayed in his house when they lost their house to a fire. Nora remembered how Ruby and her mother, Katrina, came to visit Alex and made her stay in Alex's house a living hell simply because they wanted her to leave. "Come in," said Nora, as she stepped to the side for Ruby to walk in. Ruby was surprised to see Nora, and she said, "What a surprise. I can't believe that I will run into you again so soon." "Please have seat. I'll let Clara know that you are here," said Nora. "Not so fast," said Ruby. "What are you doing here?" she questioned Nora. "I'll let Clara know that you are here," Nora repeated, ignoring Ruby's question. When Clara joined Ruby at the living room, Ruby did not waste any time in telling her lies about Nora, including how she stole her brother's money. "I know she's capable of stealing my man, but I didn't know that she has it in her to steal money too. Jason must hear about this." Clara promised Ruby. Clara asked Nora to bring them some drinks and snacks. When Nora dropped off the tray of drinks and snacks and turned her back to leave, Ruby picked up a glass of juice and intentionally dropped it on the floor, breaking the glass cup. "Oops, you have to clean this up," Ruby said to Nora, looking at her directly in the eyes. "Excuse me," Nora said politely. "Yes, you heard me. I said, clean this up immediately," Ruby repeated. Nora looked at Clara and then turned to Ruby and said, "First of all, I don't work for you. Second of all, I'm not going to let you abuse me the way you and your mother, Katrina, abused me when I was living in your brother's house. So, the next time you're coming here, be sure to bring your cleaning materials and be prepared to clean after yourself." Both Clara and Ruby were surprised that Nora spoke to Ruby in that manner. "Wow," Clara quickly said. "I can't believe what I just heard you say. I will be sure to let Jason know that his cook is becoming unnecessarily rude to my guest." "Suit yourself," Nora replied and walked away. Later that day, Clara informed Jason of everything Ruby had told her about Nora, and she added some more lies of her own. She tried to persuade Jason to kick Nora out of his house, but Jason refused. He told Clara that he will decide who gets to leave or stay in his house. The next day, Ruby came back to visit Clara. This time, she came with her mother, Katrina. As soon as Nora opened the door for them, she knew that the evil duo has come to finish what Ruby started the day before. "Welcome," Nora said as she opened the door. "Keep your greetings to yourself," Katrina replied to Nora, looking as if she had come to fight someone. Nora instantly knew that their visit would be nothing but trouble. She has experienced cruelty from Katrina and Ruby in the past, and it wasn't a good place to be. Katrina and Ruby, together with Clara, made fun of her the entire time. It was as if they wanted to get under her skin and push her to react. Nora refused to react to all of their antics. She refused to take their bet and lose her cool. One day when Jason left for work, Nora went to Clara's room to talk to her about her behavior towards her, especially when Ruby comes around. Nora noticed that the door was open, and before she could knock on the door, she saw Clara walk with ease towards the other end of the room without any support from her walker or crutches. Nora couldn't believe what she just saw, because Clara has been walking around with the help of a walker and sometimes crutches and pretending to be in pain. She sometimes complained bitterly, accusing Nora of being responsible for her strained ankle because she left the twins unsupervised, leading them to spill baby oil that caused her accident. She was using her strained ankle to manipulate everyone, particularly Jason. Nora was shocked, and she just stood at the door, not knowing what to do next. When Clara saw Nora at the door, she quickly ran and grabbed her walker and pretended to be in pain. "You don't have to pretend with me anymore, because I saw you without your walker," Nora said. "What do you mean?" asked Clara. "Your days of manipulating everyone is over. Jason will surely hear this," Nora said, and turned to walk away. Clara ran after Nora and said, "You can't say a word about this to Jason. I'm warning you. It will be in your best interest to keep your mouth shut." "You are barking up the wrong tree. Watch me expose your lies," replied Nora as she ran down the stairs. "You won't dare!" Clara yelled, and pushed Nora so hard that she tumbled down the stairs. Clara was quickly filled with fear as she watched Nora's motionless body at the bottom of the staircase. "Nora! Nora! Nora!" she called out with fear written all over her face as Nora did not move. "What have I done?" she cried out. Then she heard a sound at the front door. Suspecting that someone was coming, Clara quickly ran and got her crutches and cried out for help as if something was happening to her. End of part 2.